Yeah, so meeting is started.
Okay.
Just give 1 minute and then we can start.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can start maybe. So thank you everyone for joining this session. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So today topics like we are going to start with the Nintex apps, and we'll see what is Nintex apps and how it's get benefited in the actual world. So today's speaker, my name is Arvind Kumar. I am founder of Pro Inception. Along with me, I have Abdul, who is a CTO for Pro Inception. So what we will cover today, we are going to talk a little bit about introduction of Nintex apps, then key features and capability, use case scenario and live demo or walkthrough and Q&A. So what is Nintex apps? I mean, why do we need Nintex apps if we talk about, because when we are working on these low code platforms and workflow BPMs and everything, how Nintex apps can be benefited for the customers. So if we talk about Nintex Automation Cloud, Nintex Automation Cloud, the forms features and workflow features is extremely powerful and complex, and then along with K2. If you talk about Nintex apps, it's like you can build your own low-code platforms, and you can say you can build your applications, and it's moreover like a very responsive. It works with any kind of device, and then you can write your all kind of custom experience. You can write your JavaScript, jQuery, and all those things. You can create your custom controls and everything, and it's seamless integrate with Nintex Automation Cloud, and you can call the workflow work list and everything. So if you see any other low-code platforms like OutSystems or Power Apps and all, they do not have features like a workflow capability and all. So Nintex app will fill the gaps, like where if you need a traditional BPM solutions, like you can go and build a nice UI through Nintex apps, and then you can call the workflow through the Nintex apps. And no coding required, just drag and drop and configurations. And if you need more to do and write, you can just do more kind of complex things. You can build your custom solutions like that, and it works across the devices. You can build more kind of uh, responsive pages and apps here. Why Nintex apps? Like it's design independence, rapid development, unified data access. So if you talk about design independence, what it is, so get beyond one size fits all UI. That means like once you build it, it will work with across the device, whether it comes for mobile or whatever device. So you can go and build your responsive applications here, and then you can use across the device. Full control over layout. You have full control over layout. You can just control everything and interaction, navigations. You can build left navigation, and all those things. Whatever traditional right now, if you see in the React, Node natives and all those things, you can build those applications here. Build your app layout, UX, logically, visually, and you can like apply those themes and UI UX across here. No code is needed here. You can just use drag and drop, and you can start the developments. Rapid prototyping and development. You can use pre-built components for faster delivery. You can drag and drop the controls. You can build it, logic, styling, and action in a click. So you can go and build your logic. You can go and build your styles, and you can build your styles however you want, and then you can apply those for each and every controls, how the forms looks like, and then ideal form for MVP POC. So it's a kind of a quick development and quick MVP. Unified data forms multiple source like Nintex apps connect with your Nintex data. You can connect with your Nintex data and then you can store your data into Nintex data and easily just call it and you can do that. Otherwise, they have like a lot of connectors. You can use that connectors and then you can call that connectors with your end systems like REST API, database, SQLs, Oracle, Amazons, and all, right? And then we have pre-configured connectors, simplify integration. You can just go and just use that. So if you talk about pre-configured connectors, like we have Nintex Data, AWS, Google, Salesforce, OData, SQL, Oracle, REST API. So notes like any on-prem data must need internet access, must be enabled publicly. Then only you can connect with this, and then you can bring the data into Nintex apps. Like a custom UX for SaaS platforms, let's see a use case. So what we can do, we can go and build a dashboards like examples like a Salesforce, a better UI, and combine your ERP ServiceNow data, and you can pull those data into your dashboard and create a tailored view and internal teams. So I mean that like you can easily go and build your SaaS platforms and you can talk with the multiple systems, you can bring the data and you can display the data and you can give the tailored view for internal teams and outside and everything's all the access. Things which we have to keep in mind, like Nintex app do not support any offline support, not for native mobile apps. So if you talk about native mobile apps, it's not like a out system or any native applications like you can say Android or iOS and all those things. So it does not support those kind of native features. I mean, where you can go and install into your Google Store, Play Stores, and then you can install your mobile's application. Cannot access non-exposed on-prem systems and K2 integration possibly for on-prem that will be coming in the futures. And right now also you can do through API and all those things. So how to get started? I mean, once you have Nintex apps, like if you want to start on that, how do you start? Like you can go with Nintex apps like nintex.com trial and you can get a trial version and explore your app builder, connect your data source and use template to start from scratch. So we'll go through some demo and then we'll go through one by one. So I will hand over to Abdul and Abdul maybe talk about the features, capability and everything, and then how we can work on Nintex apps one by one. So maybe over to you, Abdul.
Thank you, Arvind. Thank you everyone for joining here. So give me a second for sharing my screen. We can see the features. Okay. Hope my screen is visible to you.
Yeah, we can see Abdul.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So after you log in, you'll see this layout, okay, where it will allow you to create app, allow you to create connection to the external data source, and then create data and the apps and the pages and so on. So we will see what is available. For example, if you take any app, so we'll start with data. So the data, it could be coming from external data source, or it could be from our own repository. So let's start from connection and see what Nintex apps offer. So if we go to the connections tab, you can see it allows us to create tables that is getting stored in our own repository, and then allows us to connect with other workflows from Automation Cloud and also documents. Apart from that, at the bottom, you can see it allows us to create external connection. So let's see.
So I think Abdul, if you
Yes,
go
sir.
back,
Yes, yeah,
maybe go back.
Yep. Yes,
So
sir.
guys, here what we were talking, like this has some pre-built connector. I mean, you don't need to go and creator connectors and everything. That means the Nintex data, workflow, documents, and all. So these are like already pre-built connected. I mean, you don't need to go and set up your connections and everything. So what you need to do, you just need to do your manage. So once you go and create your data into Nintex data, it automatically will get fetched into that, and then you can create models and everything. So on top of that, similar with the workflow, and then documents also. But when it comes for external connections, like if you want to create external connections, you can go here and create it. So maybe Abdul, you can show now.
Yes, sure. So for external connections, we can click create and it will show us the options of connector. So you can see variety of connector connections available: Amazon, Google Drive, okay, OData, REST API. So you can use any of them and get a connection created, and then from that you can actually connect the model with this connection to get the data. Okay. So so that's about this external connection. Let me go back to the screen. Okay, and here you can see this is talking about, as Sarvind mentioned, so this is about the existing connection, which is the default one. So you can use that to create your tables. Okay, so here you can see we have already created a couple of tables here. Similarly, you can also create a table. Just let me show you how the layout looks like. So you can provide a table name. For example, I give employee, and then it allows us to add columns apart from the default audit columns generated for us. So here you can add the column name. Let me show you one or two columns, for example. Okay, I'll say full name, and we have the type. These types are allowed. So I take text short and then create. So we can see one column is added. Okay, so similarly, you can also control the table, access control. You'll see that in the coming up sessions, and also the conditions. So after it is created, you can further, if you already created and have the data in it, then you can come back here and click the data and see what is available so far. Okay, but currently we just created, you will not find any data. I'm just going back here and going back to the previous window. Okay. Yeah. So after it is created, you can find it is listed here. You can anytime come here and edit that. Okay. This is about data. So let me go back to the apps and see what next. Okay. So we saw the connections and we also saw the data. Okay. So after the data is ready, meaning the tables are created for you, so you can go to apps and create pages. Okay, but before that, there is something called design systems, because when you create a page, you'll specify the styling. Okay, by default, there are some styling given by Nintex apps. You can make use of them, or you can even edit and create your own design system, and that can be used inside your app. Okay, so let me just click create so that you can see how this looks like. So let me create one called employee theme. And we can clone the styles from existing ones. I take the built-in Aurora. So it shows you all the branding related information, so which you can modify. So you can see the functional colors, brand colors, the borders, okay, and opacity, typography. So you can edit and save it so that this particular theme or the design can be used when you develop an app with pages. Okay, so this is an excellent feature given in Nintex apps. So the styling can be made easier. So let me go back.
I think if you
Yes,
if you
yes,
go here, design system, the key things like which does not supported by out systems or power apps or any other, I mean, low code systems right now. I mean, they are not so friendly where you can go and, I mean, build your themes very easily and you can write that. So if you click here on the three icons, right, left side, Abdul, just click on the components. Yeah,
yes,
there. No, 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 down, down. Just go down. Yeah, this component, third one. Yeah. So here, if you see all the controls, so these controls also you can apply your themes and everything. So if you just see the buttons and everything, so it's a kind of button set. And if you want to write more extended code, I mean, based on your demand, you can see here extended with code. And what you can do is just click on extend with code, and then here you can just go and modify, and then you can change it and all those things. So it's like so powerful, and you can save it and then you can use during your applications. Yeah, over to you,
yes,
Abdul.
Arvind. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let me go back to the apps and show you the features to build an app. Okay, here in the apps tab, it allows you to create an app. So let me start with the create, where you can provide the name of the app. And by default, you can see Aurora is selected, but you can select other built-in design system or the one you actually customized. So it will be having the name, so you can pick that. So I'm selecting employee theme. I didn't make any change, but I can still use this. Okay. So here, so it consists of pages. Okay, the pages would consist of the components. So let me start with a page. I save and edit the page so that we can see all of the features. Okay. So this is the editor where we can drag and drop the components and build our pages. Okay. So here, the left side, we can see components. So we have a variety of components to start with. Okay. So you can drag and drop the component, and I can also connect the component with the data model. Okay. So just for example, let me drag and drop a table, for example. Okay, so the table is a component. It should be connected with a model. Okay, model in turns connects with the data. Okay, so the model is a bridge between a component and data. So you can create model connecting to your existing data. So let me start with creating a model first. And here you can see the connection. So we go and select any type of connection. In this case, we're going to select the data so that we can pick the employee data we create, a table we create. Okay, so now I select the basic a model, not an aggregate one, a basic which will display the records individually. Clicking OK. So now we can see the columns we added to that employee table, so you can use them. Okay, so you can select what you need. So it is added at the right side, and further you can actually select and change the label and other information. For the demo, I'm going ahead with the default settings. So after this, you just save it and then go back to the form. And now you can add the fields because we connected with the model. From the model, you can pick the columns you want to show in the component. So for now, let me select just one column here. Okay, so you can see a list view connected to employee data via employee model. So currently we do not have data. So if data exists, we can see all the records here, which you can see by clicking preview, right? Okay, so currently there is no data, but similarly, generally we create header, footer, and for example, here it's a list screen. So list screen, then further you can add a button to call another form where you can create new employee record, which will get stored into the employee table, and then further it can be refreshed and listed here. Okay, so if I go back to the components to show you what other components Nintex apps offer, just to show you that you can see, I think almost all type of components we have to build an app in this low code platform. Okay, so apart from components, you can also see at the left side, we have models we created. It can be further edited, and then the action flows. Okay, so the action flows, as this description goes, we can interact with the data and the user interface. Okay, so we will see these in the coming up sections. Now I just want to show you what Nintex Apps offers. And then apart from action flows, we also have a separate section to handle the display logic, because in any app, we write a lot of code to toggle the visibility of controls based on set of conditions. So for that, we have a separate section where we can handle those rules. Okay. Okay. So apart from that, it also allows us to use additional JavaScript, which can be used injected into the page. Okay. So these about the Nintex apps, pages, and the components. Okay. So I think we covered these. So Arvind, would you like to
Thank you.
take it further?
I think let me share my screen. We'll go with one small demo and then
Sure, thank you.
yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Abdul. So guys, if you see my screen, we have built some internal application, which is something called Dora. And in the Dora, what you can see here now, like we have connected with a different page and all those things here. Now I want to run and show you how it has been built up here. So let me go and see this. So now you can see this is the home page where we have a kind of a production document. I mean, it's a kind of a document review system where we have a sender, receivers, and all those things. So, I mean, when sender send a document and it goes to receiver, and receiver review that and approve it, and then it come back to the sender, and then sender can see all the status, graphs, and everything. So now if you go here and say like send production document, and then once you click on send production document, you can go here and you can see the details of documents. What we are doing as a due to the limitations, what we have done, we can ask users to give this here URL, and then we can review that through the document storage system. But having said that, we can include here the S3 like Amazon or others like a Google Drives or all those things, and we can store the data. So like say we have some kind of radio buttons, they select it, and then you can say here HTTPS Google Servin.pdf. I'm saying that something like that, and then once I select the type, it asks for the recipient, which is required or not. So now if you see here, these also are required field. If I just say here by default, it asks for the validation. So what I can do, I can go and select all the required field here, and then I can go and select the deadlines and everything. And then I can go and set expiry date, and then I can add some comment paste. And then once I save it, so now you can see here it's going back, and now you can see the status as a draft and then counts and everything. So now you can go here and see all the details. And now if you want to edit that, you can just go and click edit. And then again, you can change the data and you can cancel it. So these are all logic which we have written. You can see here we have added some I mean, highlighted things like circles and everything through JavaScript, and you can easily identify and all those things. So let's say I want to delete that, it asks for confirmation, and then go and delete the record, and then the graph and everything very dynamically it change accordingly. Let me show you what we have done here. I mean, we have some connections here, tables, like we have used some tables to store the data and everything. And then if you go to the apps page here, and if I try to open this, so we have used these controls and all those things. So now you can see here we have tried to create some models. As Abdul said, like you can go and create dynamic models, and you can call those models inside that. And we have some certain action flow. I mean action flow, like when you click on pop-up, how it works. When receiver view it, edit, then sender click, and then so like how the action works, right? And then some display logic here. I mean, display logic is completely a client side logic where you can write those logics, how to hide, so validations and all those things. So the display logic is more over like a client side logic. And then we have some JavaScript. We have written some JavaScript here just to show the status like accepted, sent, draft, viewed, and what are the colors. And then we are just trying to bind with that, I mean, reports and everything here. So I mean, you can write your JavaScripts and everything's very much, and you can add those details here. So now you can see here, this is a kind of a table control. This is the kind of a buttons, and on the buttons we have written like you can change the designs whatever you want, right? And then you can we have some event here, interaction. So in the interactions we have a click method, and now if you go to click method, send production click, and now if you go here, see that if you go to this rules, so I mean you can just go and edit that, send. Yeah, this one, sender click, and then you can see here the moment they click it, we are trying to, I mean, write the logic, how it works, saving the models, and then go to the below, I mean, URL. So if you go here, send production document, what we're doing when any of the following occurs, we are trying to open another page here, and then in the current window. So I mean, you can write those logics here, and you can easily, I mean, it's like a moreover like a extendable things, whatever you are going to write your event, you can write those events here, and you can bind those events with your apps. And action flow, which I told you already, I mean, you can write more actionable flow. And then this one, like you can write your client side logics like hide, so mandatory, I mean, make it more kind of colorful or something like that, right? So you can write your client side logic here, and then you can build the application. So, I mean, this is all about kind of Nintex apps and on how we have built this application and how we have done. So maybe if anybody have any questions, we can go through that, or we can wrap the session. Cool. I think then everybody's okay. Then thank you, Abdul, and thank you everyone for joining. However, if you have any questions, please do reach out to us Pro Inception, and we are here to help you anytime. Thank you very much.